Alienware M17 R3 review. The newest in almost everything, in CPUs from Intel, NVIDIA GPUs and a 300Hz display seems to be the newly revised Alienware M17 R3, which is pretty good and decent. It became a familiar legend designed by Alienware that also occurs not only to be the nicest looking series of portable games by Alienware, but also to be the slimmest. A couple of specifics changed for 2020 along with a new stem and smooth chassis coating and a 1.7mm more passive keyboard. However, it's inside of that Alienware has done work hardest to increase the game ante. Alienware has done more work than any previous laptop series to focus on improving heat dissipation for 2020. More importantly, the Cryotech re-engineered cooling with 39% more copper, the brand name CPU chamber solution and 25% more copper and GPU fan blades. In today's video, you'll discover that you can get a fast 512 M.2 SSD, 32GB of RAM, note that the memory is soldered and not upgradable, and Intel's top 8-core mobile CPU when you buy this laptop. The battery performance in bars is all very outstanding, even worse than we expected, but no less than you would expect from the price to be given. Furthermore, the revised Alienware M17 R3 for 2020 is just a refined display and perhaps a couple more hours of battery life away from grandeur. So stay with us till the video's end. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon for more updates. Let's get started. Cost and availability. Prices for the Alienware M17 revamped by 2020 start at $1,600 or £1,849, around Australian $2,200. An incredibly cost-effective 17-inch portable gamer flagship from Alienware. But this has a weedy AMD Radeon RX 5500M GPU with a small rattle. You'll see a heavier $3,299 or £2,999, approximately Australian $5,750, configured for review and greater for real fun. You have some good choices for your cash, along with an 8-core mobile Intel CPU, a 512GB M.2 SSD and a 300Hz 1080p display. The NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super is the graphics subsystem that is not quite the best available today. Naturally, in laptops of brands such as Gigabyte and MSI, you can obtain common features for less money, but not with the same design and construct quality. The latest M17 is a beautiful device that looks premium and has probably lacked previous extrusion platforms. Design. In the monumental Area 51M 17 inches beast, Alienware's latest legend design aesthetic made its debut early last year. Since then, the M15 and M17 models have been incredibly lightweight and thin. A very mild makeover was given for 2020. The Alienware M17 R3 looks similar to the 2019 model in one look. But when you look closer, you will find a harder coating for the soft touch chassis, which Alienware suggests is more resistant to marks and stains. Additional details involve upgraded speakers. The 4-way speakers, 2 woofers and 2 tweeters are supposed to improve the M17 R2 by 2.5 and 2 times by 30% more loudly over the entire audio range. The M17 remains largely the same overall physical proportions. It's between 2.5 and 2.97 kilograms and is 22mm or 0.86 inches depending on the configuration and the clock. So for a 17-inch gaming monster, it's extremely slim. But not that, particularly given the power supply left, you would choose to lug about. The super fast gaming courtesy unit for a 300Hz 1080p display was designated for our M17 review unit. There's also a 4K choice, but the resolution for mobile chips is probably still too demanding. A 1440p or 2560 pixels option of 1440 would be pleasant, but it's rare on a portable PC unfortunately. Port-wise, 3 USB-A fast-speed sockets with the help of Thunderbolt 3, HDMI, Ethernet and microSD are available, port-wise. Consequently, all of your bases are fairly covered and the mini socket rather than complete DisplayPort is our only complaint. Due to the chassis size, a full port would fit well and reduce the chances of cable frustration. Performance. The benchmarks show the real advantages of improved cooling of the M17. In terms of in-game performance and effectiveness, this super-powered laptop NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2020 provides very comparable frame rates from a 2080 Super Max Q cousin. This means that the large and heat-efficient chassis can be sustained thanks to the higher GPU core and especially memory clock speed. The 2070 Super generally performs very well in even the most demanding games such as the Metro Exodus and Total War 3 Kingdoms. You get more than 60 FPS on average at 1080p, even in the maximum image configurations. The 300Hz 17-inch display is really a perfect fit, which is 1080p of course. Most of the titles of sports will fly completely on this computer and feel reactive with the ample GPU power and insane high rates of refresh. The only thing is the dingy lights on the LCD panel. It's 300 nits long, which is fairly pedestrian, not so luminous in subjective terms. The M17 screen looks extremely old school SDR in this age of almost ubiquitous HDR support. In addition to Thunderbolt 3 connections to external drives, however, there is space indoors for another M.2 drive. Sure, users have plenty of possibilities to create space and solid performance for a huge library. Battery life. With only a couple of hours of undemanding video reproduction and half of the screen at half of its subtle peak brightness, the Alienware M17 was yet able to underscore them. This type of system takes a long battery life for nobody sensitive, but you would be right to expect a little better than a few hours. Why should you buy and why should you not buy? The Alienware M17 was built from the ground up to be a gaming machine. This entails some trade-offs, but it also implies users get the right components in such a wonderful chassis. The Alienware M17 performs admirably in its current configuration, thanks to its powerful CPU-GPU combination and 300Hz display. The newly updated Legend design aesthetic from Alienware is its best yet. It's a little more robust than it was before, but it still looks really good with refined details but plenty of RGB lighting. The M17 is really an excellent laptop, but for less cash in other laptops, you could get the same or very similar features. For renovation, design, and brand recognition, you pay a significant premium. The 300Hz screen of the Alienware M17 is certainly responsive, but it's not dreadfully dynamic or punchy too. This is a bit disappointing in an age of eye-capping HDR panels. That's all for today's video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done already. Do give a like. We will be back with more videos. Stay tuned.